to the DrVtach Show. This podcast is a long-form conversation hosted by DrVtach with the top guests in the world of esports. All from owners, pros, semi-pros, former pros, and content creators of many games. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the DrVtach Show. Today we have a special guest. Today's special guest is the coach from Team Oxygen. This guy's phenomenal, guys. I've been hearing all good things about him, and he is tough. How tough? I heard he's so tough he sleeps standing up. I'm telling you, this guy is tough. He is good. He's one of the top coaches in the league, an NA. And he coaches Fox. He coaches a lot of these great players that are out there right now. So let's give a big welcome to our good friend here, Taylor.
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going, man? How's life treating you?
Man, life is good. Life is good. Just kind of at a standstill right now, but honestly, I can't complain.
Oh, good, man. So what you been up to lately? I mean, you've been kind of quiet, but a little bit stuff on Twitter. I mean, I try to check you up.
Yeah, no, it's been honestly, like, because of the off season, there's just nothing really to talk about. There's nothing really to do. For sure, this has been like the biggest dry spell for us, at least probably since ever. So yeah, man, nothing much really going on in terms of Rainbow. So just focusing on life stuff and, shuffling the deck in the background and kind of getting prepared for the next season.
Yeah, I know what's keeping Rainbow up and running right now is content creation, and especially Jinxie. He's doing something that's keeping everybody entertained during this off season. Kind of happy for that.
Yeah, no, he's something special. I don't think that guy gets enough credit. I mean, he gets enough credit. I mean, he already knows he's the GOAT in terms of eyeballs and views, and he doesn't need that kind of credit. But I just wish he had more support from us in terms of just being in our scene more, or just him knowing that the pros value his exposure, because he's a key aspect to our scene.
Oh yeah, this most definitely. Now he's lately 1v1ing a lot of pro players, and I think that's caused a big boost, and it grabbed a lot of people's attention seeing him 1v1 at Shaiko, Spoy, all these players. I think he needs to 1v1 Dreams or Foxy. Yeah,
100%.
He needs to. Yeah,
it's great because the 1v1s is what we've been doing that for years. Same map, with weird rules, and it just shouldn't work. Like with a game like Rainbow Six Siege, 1v1ing sounds kind of ridiculous, but he's kind of taken it mainstream, and it's the fact that people eat it up is great. But
oh yeah, it's become like really, it's fun to watch. Then he started raging, kicking the cameras, doing crazy stuff, and it makes it entertaining, because Rainbow, yes, there's 1v1 moments when you're versus a team, like let's say, you're about to clutch a match and you just, those moments, it gets really intense.
100%.
And people love to feel that adrenaline rush, like, oh my God, he's right there, shoot him, so it just keeps everything like intense, like if you're watching some type of John Wick movie or something, just like on the edge of your seat, and it's fun. And he even put Chaiko versus Bolo.
Yeah, I mean, he's at this point just getting all the names and capitalizing on them and putting them in one video. I mean, he's a genius.
He is a genius. I mean, you saw that 1v1 Chaiko versus Bolo?
Yeah.
That was intense.
No, and the marketing behind it, and
God,
his commentary. I mean, he's hit a market, and it's It's part of, it's a pillar now. It's a pillar of Rainbow, and it's crucial to our success. And, you know, I'd love to get him out to an event or something just because of, I mean, the pro scene loves him. Everyone loves him in the pro scene. So
Yeah.
I wish he would come to like Invite or something and just really experience the whole Rainbow in a nutshell, being with the fans, being with Ubisoft, the pro players. I mean, it's a really good time. So I'm really thankful that he's in our scene, and I hope he continues to keep pushing Rainbow for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna do that. We got to see him play an Oxygen Pro.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see that.
New would be a good one.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, new would be a good one.
He'll be a good one. That will be good. That will be intense. That will be really fun to watch. So Taylor, how was it that you started? A little bit background about you. How is it you started gaming? How is it? How did it start? Did you start it on console? Did you start on PC?
So, man, so my story is interesting because a lot of people don't really know my story. There's a few that do, but I started competitive gaming back when I was 15, 14 on the MLG circuit. So back when Vegas, Gears of War, Halo, I'm trying to think what other games. And then there was a game called Shadowrun. And I played a game called Shadowrun on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of a sleeper game, but because MLG picked it up, that kind of tells you how good the game was. All the owners of MLG absolutely loved the game, so they decided to give it to put it on the circuit with the rest of the big names at the time. And because it was so good, a lot of the Halo pros actually played Shadowrun as well. So Walshy, Ogre 2, I don't think Snipe Down. I think Elamite Warrior. If you're into the Halo scene, the origins of the Halo scene, those guys played the game. So I played it, and I got second at that event. I actually ended up playing against Walshy and Ogre 2 in the finals, and I ended up losing to them. And that was kind of how I started gaming. So I got into Shadowrun, went to a couple events there, and it kind of snowballed from there. So I started when I was 14, 15, became pro in Shadowrun for a couple of years. And then I took a massive break, went to college, focused on work. And I was always into gaming, but I wasn't doing it competitively. So that's kind of how it started. And then my last year of college, I'd say I was taking about 16, 18 hours of online. And I was playing Rainbow Six came out right then. And I was like, you know what? I got free time while I'm, working at home. Let's load it up. So I started on Xbox. I was playing Rainbow Six Siege on Xbox. And then I became pro on Xbox. And I was like, I got my degree and realized, hey, man, this might be something. So I kind of stuck it out while I was working.
Jeez.
Kind of started from there. Yeah.
So when you became pro on Rainbow?
Yeah, I became pro in Rainbow back in 2015.
Wow, this is
on console.
On console.
On console.
I think console had the first SI. Wasn't it console, right? The first one?
Yep, console had the first SI. What's funny is they actually had a tournament before the game came out, which was in beta. They had a beta tournament, and Hopes, the other coach that works with me, he actually went to that event. He got invited to it because he was also a Rainbow Pro back in Vegas 2, Vegas 1 era. He got invited to that. He played in that tournament and he won the whole tournament for the beta. And then for console, the console season started up, and then I made the first LAN for the console season for season 1 on console for Rainbow. I made that one.
You know that in the trophy it shows, because on the there's a trophy, and I don't know which part of the trophy where the stand is, where you put the hammer on the bottom, the base.
The base of it?
It has, the base of it has all the teams that won. And that first year, it has the console.
Does it really? Yeah. So the very first year I made it to the finals, and I lost to Laxing in the finals on console.
Lax. Oh, yes. Nice guy.
Yeah. So
nice guy. Yeah.
I knew Lax from the very beginning. I actually know a lot of the players from the very beginning, but
you know Snake Nade?
Yeah, I know Snake Nade.
Snake Nade. I assume you knew the goat Kickstar.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, he's actually the one that got me into. Because I never liked. A lot of people know that I never was into Rainbow. I was a
Battlefield.
Battlefield guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was top 30 in a lot of things in that game, and just cranking it up really good. And then I tried the beta and I played it. I was like, this sucks. I was like, what the
Yeah, it
heck?
was completely
Bunch
different
of
game too.
campers. What the
Yeah,
heck?
bunch of different game on beta too.
Yeah, and it was just so different, so different. And I didn't see the competitive side until I saw like this mini documentary of Kickstar. And I was like, who the heck is this guy? He just eliminated all these people like in 7 seconds. What the heck? And I was like, okay, wait one second. This guy is like the best. What the heck? And then I got really into it and just started loving the game afterwards. Got so addicted to it, I stopped playing Battlefield. And all my friends that are into Battlefield, they all transitioned. They went all over. They went, to Rainbow. So yeah, Rainbow has come a long ways. Um, Unfortunate now, Rainbow is suffering a lot of things with the cheaters. I kind of hope they fix this up pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, with games coming out now, you see a lot of the games centering the game around the anti-cheat, right? Like normally the anti-cheat gets built in around the game as it's being made. That's kind of what Valorant did. That's why Valorant's so successful with the competitive side of things. And
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow's so old. Like when you think of when Rainbow actually came out and the just everything that they used to make the game, it's got to be so outdated. But
Yeah.
because the game is so complex, it's incredibly difficult to update the game and keep it up to speed with today's time in terms of technology and where we're at now. So I know that if they tried to remake the game, I mean, they would have to completely build it from the ground up because I don't think they were expecting the game to be so successful. Well, actually, I know they weren't.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel they didn't expect it to be that successful. I mean, the way it came out, they must have been like, "Wow, what the heck? This game is getting the boom as it is."
It was a cash grab. Honestly, that was what the intention was. It was supposed to be a cash grab. Because they were making another Rainbow Six game. I forgot what the name, Patriots maybe. It's been a long time, but
Mhm.
they ended up scrapping that game and switching it over to Siege. And I don't think they were expecting the success that it was going to have with the lore and the characters. And once the game really hooked and caught on, and they realized that they had gold on their hands, it was too late, and they had to work with the foundation that they had already built. So it's tough.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. I kind of wish they do what Overwatch did. At least do that. Do an update, upgrade a lot of the things, put it in better servers, and do a 2.0.
100%.
And obviously work with the anti cheat because it's is ruining the game. Now I see pro players buying consoles to play the game.
Yeah. It's like a trend right now.
It's a good trend. So now Xbox is happy, Sony is happy. They're like, yeah, go ahead, buy all the consoles you want, because it's the only way. A lot of these players are just having some fun. Now in console, cheaters are the ones that are using Zim. For those that don't know, it's mouse and keyboard on console. You're not supposed to do that, and there are some special devices that connect to them, so they could just play against controller players. For especially those controller players that don't have the experience to go against a mouse and keyboard player, you're going to lose all the time.
100%. Specifically on
So,
Rainbow. It's not the case on other games, but
yeah,
with Rainbow, it's that way.
it is. It's tough. you gotta change your strategy. Once you know that person's on mouse and keyboard, you're gonna have to change your strategy and do everything different. You can't just rush into places real quick because you're gonna end up dying real fast. The reaction time is gonna be faster. The movements are faster, left to right with a mouse versus your controller. And it's that's the only part that console is dealing with. So these pro players, they don't mind it. They're like, okay, we rather deal with that versus dealing
Someone
with
that's actually cheating.
this
Yeah.
actually cheating and doing wall hacking and lag switching or whatever. So it's just like, okay, that's lesser of the two evils. I'm gonna just go with console. I see that a lot.
No,
They're
I think
switching.
I think they're onto something. Plus, Jinxie's on console, so the market on console is massive.
Yeah.
Which is why when they canceled the Pro League for console back in the day, like it was a big deal because the market actually was a lot. There was a lot of console players,
Mhm.
and the console players felt like Ubisoft didn't respect what the console players were bringing to the scene as well. And as console players, we would watch the Pro League PC players and realize that we can do what they're doing. We don't think they're doing things correctly, but the game just played different on console to PC. So, it's a massive industry on console.
Yeah. I was surprised that they didn't continue to do or just probably like divide it, have console pro league scene and then and continue doing the PC.
Well, they did do that. They had it divided, and then what happened is they had to make a choice. They said we can keep this separated and split the budget in half, 50-50, 50 going to console, 50 going to PC, or we can cancel one of the leagues and go full 100 pedal to the metal into one scene. And that's what they did. They cut Xbox and they went full on to PC. So it helped the scene in the way because it allowed the money to get the prize pools to get bigger. I don't know if they expanded the amount of teams, but it just allowed them to do a lot more because all of the budget was on one, just on PC.
You think now and days how things is going with console, how like big streamers like Jinxie and others have brought the Rainbow Six Siege scene a lot more popular. You think that would have been convenient?
To bring it back now.
Well, if they would have known that there was going to be a massive content creator as Jinxie that has brought the game back to such popularity, like I think it's like if it's number one, I think in the charts of viewerships and stuff, and a lot of these viewers and players, young players, newcomers, they're buying consoles because of him. So I think to myself, if back in the day, if they would have kind of like known this was going to happen, would they still kept it split, or would they still just went full throttle on PC?
I'd say probably not. I mean, it's been it's 8 years now.
Mhm,
8 years, 9 years since the game came out. Jinxie just started getting popular maybe a year, 2 years ago. So I'd say no, because I think it would have failed by then, but now now that he's there and now that he's successful, maybe there's a topic for discussion to bring it back. But the way I've known Ubisoft and the people that I've always talked with at Ubisoft, like they never agreed with dividing the scene up. Once you
mhm.
create two separate leagues, it divides console and PC against each other. And I think they just kind of wanted to nip that in the butt and just eliminate that and just make one league. And if you want to compete, you come to PC, and console will still support, but it's just not going to be the same. But who knows? I mean, who knows what they do now?
Who knows what they'll do now? Because I mean, it would be nice. I mean, heck, that'd be very interesting to
They'd
see.
get eyeballs. They'd get eyeballs for sure.
Yeah, and then all these players have to use controller. They can't be going on a mouse and keyboard because they can't be. That's a form of cheating. They can't be doing that. So a lot of these players have to like, because I know a lot of players that are really good that are using Sim. And I tell them, listen, that's going to catch up to you one day in the future. You shouldn't do it. It's going to bite you in the butt.
I mean,
That is cheating. If you're into mouse and
100%.
keyboard, just get yourself go to Walmart. go to Walmart. Get yourself a cheap computer that can run. Trust me. Right now, the graphics card is a 3060 could run Rainbow Six Siege perfectly. Anyhow, everybody, even if you have a 3090 or a 40 series, you're gonna put the graphics to the lowest possible to get the best frame rate. So doesn't matter. Just go ahead and get yourself a computer. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's what we did. That's what we had to do when they canceled the league. We all had to buy PCs, and honestly, best decision I ever made. So if you're on console considering about coming to PC, just make the switch. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's
that's
worth
what I tell a lot of these folks. Just make the switch. I told I'm friends with King Brad, and he's a content creator console, and then he was just like getting bored, and I told him, listen, switch to PC, man. Switch to PC. You're gonna get bored, and he's a controller player. He was playing all the time on controller and everything, and then he was just like he didn't find the competitiveness in it. I was like, once you go to PC, you're gonna find the competitive. It's gonna be very competitive for you.
100%.
And he did it, and he loves it. He loves it.
Yeah, that's all my friends. Any of my friends that have swapped, they love it. So
how long it took you to get used to the mouse and keyboard?
Well, let me think about this, because I was on console my whole life. Then when I swapped, I mean, I was in either the next stage or the second stage after we had already swapped.
Mhm.
Most of the Xbox pros were in the PC scene by then. So I'm trying to think how long the stages were, but I'd say like maybe 3 months, 4 months. We were like competing with the pros on PC.
Wow.
Like, because it wasn't like just like a casual switch, right? Like, it's like if we all buy PCs, and this was most of the successful console pros. Like, if we're gonna make the switch, we got to go pedal to the metal. So we all bought PCs, and most of us were in the league by like stage 2, stage 3. Some of them even stage 1, like on the first switch over. Like, I think Lax and Skies and all of them had qualified for the league that stage. So a lot of us, it was pretty quick.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I try to switch from, obviously I play on PC now because I used to play on console, and then I try to do the mouse and keyboard, and I can't, man.
It's tough.
Oh gosh, it's probably because of my age as well, but I know some people in their 40s that play mouse and keyboard, and they're phenomenal, and the Dr. Disrespect, he does it, but I just haven't played it like that for many years. I've been playing on controller for so many years since
Same.
first Xbox came out. And then for me to try to make the switch and try to learn it, I just find it like I need to spend a lot of hours to do this, to get used to it. My problem is not the mouse, is actually the keyboard,
All the buttons.
and try to make sure, because you're basically multitasking a lot, because you got to make sure you jump, crouch, whatever you got to do is on the buttons. And I'm like, oh, I just can't. It would just frustrate me.
Well, you're also a little bit older, like myself too. So like, you've been playing on that controller, that muscle memory on that controller is ingrained in your brain, and has been ingrained in your brain for so long that like it's like trying to ride a bike, for the first time, switching over to a keyboard, which that was my problem too. Like, I had a very hard time learning the keyboard, learning the different buttons. I would always, press the wrong button.
Right.
And I'll tell you the reason why it worked for me though, why I was able to figure it out was because Rainbow's a slower game.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed me to, because I like, it's 50-50, right? Like there's a little bit of mechanical skill, but a lot of it's knowledge. And because it's not just a little bit of a learning curve, it's a massive learning curve. Like because we already had that knowledge of the game, it really allowed me to fully just focus on the mechanics at that point, because that was the only thing that all of us pros on console were lacking, was the mechanical aspect of it, because we knew how to play the game. We understood how the pro players on PC thought. Now the game did play a little bit differently, but it also, like, we were able to start doing things we couldn't do before. So I think like that's why it worked, is because all we had to focus on as pros was just the mechanical aspect. And once you got that down, we could hang with the pros. And because it's a slower game, it really allowed me, and because I'm a slower player, I was always a slower player. I play the support roles. It allowed
Mm-hmm.
me to really focus on just what buttons I was pressing and whatnot, because that was definitely the hardest for me, for sure, was getting that down.
Wow. I mean, I feel you, because for me, it's just like, oh gosh. Now, remember, my main game um is Flight Simulator. That's
Yeah, that
the,
game's got a lot of buttons.
yeah. So, well, with Flight Simulator, you need, your yoke, your throttle, all the goodies. And let me see, I was going to show you. So, this is for an Airbus.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, this is for an Airbus. And then I have the throttle that goes forth and back. And I think if my kids hasn't even moved it, let me see where I can find it. Usually have it near me. But yeah, I that's the game that I say, if any game dies, that game I will never quit it. Because that's just one game that I would always play, and I've been playing it since Flight Simulator '98.
Oh, that game won't die. And they got
No,
there's a market for that game, and
oh, it's
I'm sure they
it's
use that shit for training too.
oh,
So
it's phenomenal for training. It's really good. Um, Usually, a lot of flight schools uses a different program, but a lot of these students, they use this at home now. That's what they're using. So it helps you learn certain things, whether um, flying in the dark at night, going by instrument only. So it helps out a lot. So when you get into the real world and you're flying, a Cessna or a Boeing, it helps you out. I used to play a lot with this pilot. He was the actual pilot for, I think it was American Airlines, or was I forgot. He'll change companies, but I used to learn a lot from him, and we'll play flight sim, and I'm like, okay, you're the pilot. I'm just gonna be the co-pilot. I'm just gonna watch. So it was fun. We'll do island hops, and we'll stop in small, with a small aircraft, and just go island hop, and he'll just teach me. It was so fun. Time flies so fast because on flight sim it uses real time. You cannot go to Florida, for example, where I'm living now in Florida, to New York, and like in 1 hour or 30 minutes in a game, and then you land. No,
it's like the full time.
it's the real time.
That's crazy.
It's gonna take you your hours. And then what they did now with the new game, with the new the 2020, I think it's a Flight Sim 2020. What they did was that they implemented the live flight traffic into the game.
Oh, that's cool.
For as an example, if you were to travel, let's say for instance you're going to Connecticut, and you're gonna take a flight wherever you're from, where you at. You take a flight from that destination to Connecticut. I could see that flight number, and I could see your flight.
Yeah, that's actually wild. That's probably something they haven't had in the game before either. Seems like a new
No,
feature.
they didn't have that before. This is new with the flight sim that came out. Before you could have it, and what you had to do, you had to um buy special software and buy, you got to spend money to implement that. So now as part of the game, is already integrated. They already have it, the flight traffics and everything. So all the flight traffics in the United States and around the world, you could see their flights and everything. It's really wild. 'Cause I'm like, oh wait, because my mom came to visit me, and I said, don't worry, mom, I'm gonna see where you're gonna be, the time you're gonna fly. I just need your flight number. So she gave me a flight number, and I saw her flight number, and she took off. And the time she landed, I already knew she landed. So I go, I know you just landed right now. How do you know? I was gonna call you. I said, I just saw your plane land.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what I did once before, and I did, my father, he came to visit me, and when he flew back home, I flew on right next to him on the flight simulator, and I saw his plane taken out, and I flew right behind, and I flew with him.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give it a shot at one point.
It's more a relaxing type of game. It does have this stress, like everything has different type of stress to it, but with stressing, you're gonna stress more landing than anything.
I believe
Landing,
that. That makes sense.
weather, and once you start landing and there's rough breeze and all this stuff, because it also does live weather, so it connects to the weather channel. So if it's raining where you're at in your city, your town is raining in the game.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they
Technology
made it.
just wild now.
Oh yeah, they made it so complex. So yeah, they did that to be, you know, to go hardcore for the hardcore flight sim. So yeah, that's what I do. So on flight sim, you don't use the mouse too much. You use it to click on the buttons and click on certain things that you need, and if you're gonna taxi, that's basically it. And all the rest is with pedals and the throttle and the yoke. So yeah, it's gotten to become very very realistic, and it's wild. So the mouse part, that's the only thing that I use when I use the mouse. I use it for that game. But and some people don't like to call it game. It's really crazy. They're like, oh, don't call it. It's not a game. It's a simulation. I'm like, okay, okay, no problem. They just
Get your terms right.
oh man, they just there's some hardcore fanatic. You call it a game is like an insult. It's not a game. It's a simulator. I'm like, okay, it's a
Whatever.
simulator. So, question: you played back in the days when Vegas. You played Vegas, right? Tom Clancy
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so you know Seth.
Yeah. We've a lot of us have gone way back.
Oh wow, Seth, good guy. Seth, crazy but good guy.
Yeah. We all kind of knew each other. Growing up, I wasn't as involved in the rainbow scene at the time, but a lot of the guys that I'm friends with now, the older guys, we're all connected on Rainbow and Call of Duty and bunch of really serious gamers. So there's a giant web of connections with all the players.
Yeah, I kind of notice a lot of them. They all get connected. As the older they get, the more unite. They become, and they hang out and to talk about the good old days and gaming and what they did in the past. Um, I'm interested to hear a lot of stuff with Ogre. I know you say Ogre.
Yeah, I
Ogre
played
too.
Ogre 2 and Walshy, and
Yeah,
I played against them. Yep, when I was 14.
those are the goats of Halo. Ogre's the goat.
Yeah, that's why I'm not really mad about getting second versus them.
Yeah, for those that are listening that don't know who Ogre is, he's basically like the Shaiko. He's like, well, let's put it this way, he's like Fatality. We're gonna put it like that. He's won so many tournaments. Him and his brother.
Yep.
I think they won like 50. I mean, they're just like,
They were why Halo was so successful. They were the goats of Halo.
yeah. They were they were so phenomenal. Nobody could have beat them. Nobody. They tried and tried until finally, I don't know when was it, they finally somebody beat them, and it was like the craziest thing. But it's
It was
like,
just their team. Their team final boss is who they were known. That was the squad they were the goats
yeah,
of Halo. So yeah, played against both of them in the finals.
wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
at the age of 14. There's an interview out there too with have you ever heard of a caster called Puckett?
Puckett. Sounds familiar.
He did the COD League, and he did the maybe Overwatch. He may have done the Overwatch League. I mean, he's one of the GOAT casters. Like if you're into the origin of FPS and console, you'll know who Puckett is. And he casted our game. He interviewed me, and there's an interview out there of me at the age of 14 getting interviewed by him and talking about Walshy and Ogre too, and them shitting on us.
Usually when you get beat by the best, it's like, oh, it's such an honor.
Yeah, it felt
Came in
great.
second, but it's such an honor.
Bro, I was 14.
So,
I was 14, and I'm playing against like the empire of
Yeah.
Halo esports, and I can't complain. Not many people get to say that. So
now, Oxygen was with Halo. They're no longer in Halo no more.
yes, I believe so. Were we in Halo? Yeah, I think we're in
Yeah,
Halo.
you were in Halo. I used
Yeah.
to mod for one of the guys in Halo. I forgot. I think he changed his gamer tag, and I even forgot. Haynes. It was his gamer tag, Haynes.
Yep, I know exactly who that is.
You know Haynes? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So he found out about me, and he put me to mod for him and help him out. You know, watch him while he was streaming. But then I think Oxygen left the scene, and other orgs as well, because Halo is really struggling, and especially with the Infinite, the new one. So, but yeah, it was kind of a bummer because I really liked that organization. I mean, all these young guys that like Optic, and I'm not so crazy about Optic. I always root for the underdog, but yeah, Oxygen had a really good team in Halo.
Yeah, I think we had a young squad
Yeah,
in Halo.
very young. One of the things I just don't like about the Halo Pro scene, and I mentioned this before in my previous episode with other people, that they tend to recycle a lot of their players, and they let their players choose who they want in their team. So they'd be recruiting their own friends instead of recruiting somebody like, wait, that guy's going to be really good for your team. It's gonna work out perfectly. They won't choose him, even though he could be better.
Yeah, that's the problem with just esports in general. Is it just doesn't operate the way a sports franchise would operate.
Exactly.
But also it's not built to operate that way. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. And it's definitely an interesting industry, but I don't think we have figured out the right path in terms of having a successful formula to esports like we do with sports.
Do you believe that esports should have, every org should have recruiters?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is it's 50-50. Like the players' opinions on things actually weigh in a lot more than like a sports team would, because it's just different. It just holds up differently. And a recruiter that is, I don't know, 45 years of age, that isn't in the scene like the players are, like it just, it doesn't have the same weight. They don't know as much as the players know, but there is a little bit of biasy with players and younger players being immature and not being old enough to make, calculated business decisions, kind of what you were talking about. They pick up their friends or whatever it might be. So that's true too. So like I said, it's a double-edged sword. Like recruiters would be a good thing, but I don't think recruiters know as much as some of the players know, but I don't think sometimes players make the right decisions either. So
yeah, it has to be on a balance. And a lot of times if I believe that there should be recruiters, but I think before picking up whoever the recruiter, say management and the players should, I think the managers and the owner, of course, should know who's what are the recommendations, what are the options, and then after that happens, have the players play with the person, and then they'll make it probably the final decision, because sometimes you could lose on a really good opportunity because you decided to pick a friend, and then when you come to see it, your friend is not doing so well because he's been begging you for years, please promise me once you go pro league you will pick me up. And then they're going to pass on a guy like, for an example, like Dreams or Bolo or a Shaiko or a Palu, somebody like that are like super good because I'm gonna have to hire my get my buddy because he's from I know him since high school.
Oh, for sure.
And then you're not making a wise decision, and at the end of the day you pick them, you recommend them, more likely you're gonna get kicked afterwards, because everything's not working out right. Oh, what happened? Well, you're the one that chooses. It was you that recommended, and then I just think to be a recruiter, I think you have to analyze multiple players, see their weaknesses, see their pros and cons, and see how they perform. And I mean, not always you're going to have a player in the team that's going to work phenomenal. I mean, I always say this as an example. Dennis Rodman, he went to the Chicago Bulls, and Michael and Scotty was like, "Oh God, what do we do here?"
What the hell is going on?
But I am sure if Phil Jackson would have said, "Okay, you choose who you want," they wasn't going to pick Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, I wish I was a little bit more knowledgeable in basketball.
Well, Dennis is the number one guy in rebounds. This guy was like, he used to get 20.
No, I know who he is. I know who he is. I just don't know like
the history of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he was like a troublemaker, bad boy. I mean, he's
the one that went to North Korea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's friends with all the dictators and
yeah, he just went there to teach basketball, and everybody rejected the leader. And he was like, "What the heck? I'll do it.
I'm going in."
And they were like, "Okay, fine. What the heck?" He came back alive, so they were like perfectly fine with it. So so yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, he changed. See, Phil kind of knew that that's what the team needed, and a lot of times these young players, they don't know that bad medicine will also do really good for your body. It's going to taste bad, but it's going to work. Somebody is going to be very good in support needs a really good entry player, and sometimes managers and a coach as yourself will see these things because you see everything as a whole. You see everything in a bigger and a wider aspect. And then you could say, okay, wait 1 second. We're going to need a good entry player because I'm noticing that we're lacking here or something here is going on. So that's when you kick in.
100%.
And a lot of people don't know about it, but I admire your work because it's got to be really tough.
It's incredibly tough.
I mean, I was a manager, not for an org, but I was a manager for a store. A lot of the employees did not know the amount of stress, that a manager goes through, and a coach as yourself, I assume you gotta if something happens, a team loses, they're gonna the first phone call is gonna be to you. What
Yeah,
happened?
100%. Yeah, no, you're definitely right. You're 100% right.
So how does that go? If you could elaborate a little bit about that.
So I mean, if you look at my team, the history of the teams that I've coached for, definitely have some of the strongest personalities and strongest brands out of a lot of the players.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with the team that I've had to deal with is definitely different. Like every different style of player and team dynamic operates differently. So the way you handle the situations is also different as well. So um, when you're talking about like the phone call, like, are you saying like if things don't go well, what is like that phone call like with the manager?
Yeah, well, the owners or manager and
Or
owners.
owner, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
owners.
pretty much how it works is
Mm-hmm.
generally, I will say, and I don't want to speak for every coach, this is me. I generally know if we're going to win or lose before the game starts. With depending on how the week or the month has gone, I can kind of tell like we're about to be successful, we're not about to be successful. And the entire week or the month that's been leading up to that match, you're thinking why? What is going on? What's the reasonings as to what we're struggling with? If you address it to the players, are they able to understand it? Do they understand it? Do they recognize it? And are they grasping what you're saying? And are they trying to fix it? If those things are happening leading up, to the month or to the week. So when the game happens and you lose, you're pretty much already prepared as to why you've lost. Now, if you lost because of it came down to a 1v1, 30 seconds on the clock, he lost his gunfight, that's a whole different ball game, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's like 50-50, and people are just going to lose those. Like sometimes you lose those, and it is what it is. There's nothing really else much to say to management. It's like, look, it came down to a 1v1. He lost his shot. I mean, what is there to really talk about? Sometimes it comes down to skill, and they lost, right? But if it's a glaring issue, like a big glaring issue, like you got smoked and your team looked like they didn't have a chance the whole time, you pretty much already have what the problem is before that phone call happens. So when that phone call does happen, you're prepared, right? And if you're not prepared, then honestly, you're probably not doing your job as a coach.
Correct.
Because issues don't just pop up tomorrow, right? It's an issue that happens over time, or that grows and builds over time. And there's generally a reason as to what that problem is. And as the coach, it's identifying it as quickly as possible.
And correcting it.
And correcting it.
And correcting it. Wow. I'm going to tell you the honest truth. With Oxygen, I always knew Oxygen because of Halo. Now, the first time that Oxygen caught my eye, you won't believe it. It was a moment that they did a really big upset. And I'm sure you may have went through a stage, okay, against this team, I kind of highly doubted we're going to win. So, but then all of a sudden you guys win.
Yeah.
And it was a time, I think, I can't recall, I think it's 3 years ago, 4, you guys went against BDS.
Okay. Was it a major?
I can't recall. I believe so. I can't
if it
even
was a
recall.
major, it probably was the Charlotte major.
And you guys beat them.
Yeah, we beat them 2-0.
Yes. I was like
that event was
Joe Rogan
was
meme
insane.
expression, like, oh,
it was insane. That event was insane. I get chills thinking about it.
Yes.
That moment on stage when we won was just like, I can't describe it, honestly.
How did it feel leading up? Okay, when you went, I gotta know, because that till today, I still remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of majors. I don't remember a lot of things. And mind you, and I have to admit, Chico has been my favorite single player, of all, because I saw what stuff that, how he played, how good and accurate. His style is really unique, and I was like, this guy's amazing. But then when I saw Oxygen beat Shaiko and Team, I was like, okay, wait 1 second, I'm
Yep.
missing out. So how was it entering the stage, knowing you're going to compete with BDS? How do you feel? How was it? You guys were nervous, or you guys were like, okay, guys, it is what it is, or how was it
Um,
leading up to it?
I mean, every match there's a little bit of nerves, but it's really not a nerve like you think. It's not like a nervous, like you're shaking kind of thing. It's just like it's like an extreme dose of adrenaline, pretty much going into the match. And
Mm,
with BDS, like Rainbow Six is all about matchups, and with BDS, and if you know the history of Rec and OXG against BDS, we match up pretty well. So what I mean by that is there's generally a back and forth. Like they're not a team that normally just dominates us every single time we play them.
mm-hmm.
It's just always like a back and forth with BDS. And if we do lose to them, it's close. So with BDS specifically, when we're just talking about BDS, there's always like this could go either way. And that's that's what you never go into a match thinking you're going to lose. You just understand
Correct.
how they play. You understand what you're trying to contain. Where do they excel? Where do they do things very very well? In the server, and what can we do to contain it? So we know all that, we understand all that, and really it's just going in there, playing our game, and hitting our shots. They're a very slow team. They play very very slow. So it's really about managing the clock and burning the clock, making sure that they don't have enough time to execute once it comes down to it. So we were really excited about it. I think we went to a map that we don't normally go to. We went to one of their best maps, and I think it came down to the final round. I think it was 7-7. We ended up winning 8-7. So adrenaline was crazy. I can't express the feeling once we won, but we didn't just beat them. I think we 2-0'd them. So felt
Wow.
felt real good.
Oh, I bet. And I bet when you guys went over to greet, because it's sportsmanship, you guys do the fist bump, and I bet that was kind of like, hey guys, we're here.
Oh yeah, I mean we had the crowd on our side for sure.
We're here.
Just the environment, the energy, just everything about it was just incredible. And yeah, man, I just really just we had disgusting play. We still have disgusting players. It's just everyone just went off that game, and it was great. So
That it's true what you're saying, because I see other teams going against BDS, and BDS just like destroys them.
mm-hmm.
Like if like what the heck? And then when they go against Oxygen, it's always a battle.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
like
very
a
close.
rivalry type of thing. And I always relate. I relate the BDS and Oxygen. It's like the Dolphins when they play the Patriots. I don't care. The Patriots back in the day with Tom Brady, they were like so superior. And then during like the final parts of the season, they play against the Dolphins and they lose. I'm like, what the
Yeah, no. I mean, we played
heck?
BDS at Gamers 8, and they just absolutely just bodied us. Like it wasn't even close. We looked terrible, and
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
again, it's just a thing of matchups, and yeah.
yeah, there's always that season that there's going to be a tournament that you guys always end up dominating, and you guys will always be doing really super good. And I think BDS knows, like, okay, guys, we're not playing against any other team. We're playing against Oxygen. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to
Yeah,
be tough.
I'm sure they think the way we think, as in like you're
Yeah,
going into the match, you should win every single time, and
it's going to be
yeah,
tough.
that event we had them, but they've gotten us before too. They've had our number before too, so it's always a back and forth with those guys.
Wow. Now, is there a team that you always had a struggle with that you had to like, okay, guys, we need to regroup, timeout. We really need to regroup because these guys are always been on our tail, and it's like always been way too tough.
I mean, W7M is a big one. I don't know what it is, but I remember I think it was Invite. It was last Invite where they just absolutely just destroyed us map 1.
Hmm.
And then like, I think that was that talk, that moment where it's like, dude, like what are we doing? We need to completely rethink what we're doing and switch some things up. And we came out and we 7-0'd them. the next map on Border, which was their best map at the time. So I would
You
say
guys
like
7-0'd them?
yeah. On
Wow.
Border. Yeah, it was a
On
big
their favorite map.
yeah, it was a big deal. It was a really big deal. That's kind of where we got a lot of respect from people on Border because we were really good at Border. People knew we were really good at Border. We hadn't lost Border ever, and we were like, hey, let's go. Let's take W7M to it, and we 7-0'd them on that map. And I think people just absolutely just understood that we don't take us to Border. And and then the next map after that, it was just really close, but we ended up losing. So I'd say W7M. We just can't seem to close it out versus those guys ever. It's always so close, and we just can't seem to close it.
Have you guys faced G2 before, right?
Yeah, they're the ones that eliminated us from from SI.
Oh, okay. They're a pretty tough team as well.
Yeah, they're good. I like their play styles. They have a good play style. I respect the play style that they have. They have some good players, and those guys have our numbers too. Yeah, Doki's good.
Doki's pretty good. Yeah, he's really good. But yeah, W7M, that team is like they do something like I look at their game style, their plays is like, man, wow, what the heck they're doing? They play so differently.
Their
versus
teamwork.
NA.
Their teamwork is just the synergy and the teamwork and just everything that they got going on over at that organization. Like, I have a lot of respect for. Honestly, they have a lot of respect for our players. Like they show New a lot of love, and I really respect those guys and what they stand for. And honestly, I'm rooting for them at SI. I hope they pull off the win. They deserve it, man. They really do.
Yeah, they this year SI is going to be very interesting because BDS is not in it.
Nope. First time. I think first time ever.
First time ever, and that's like, what the heck?
This is our first time ever not making it either.
Yeah, Wildcard is not in it, and and who else is not in it? I'm trying to remember.
There's a lot of good teams. Just the point system's just was awful this year, and the structure is awful, and it doesn't make up for like the lack of performance from some of the teams, our team included. But I don't know, just a horrible structure this year, and no one to blame but ourselves. But it is sad to see.
Do you agree with the point system?
No, absolutely not. But
yeah, because I don't know anything. I don't know too much about the point system, and I'm looking. Okay, how many orgs are out there still for Rainbow, and do we still need a point system for this?
Yeah, I mean the point system's not necessarily the problem. It's more of the allocation of spots at majors for different regions. So like other regions have a lot more spots.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really it, right? Is a lot of these other regions are generating points a lot easier than it is for like NA and Europe and Brazil. Because of that, a lot of the NA teams and the Brazilian teams and the European teams are losing major spots, which is sad to see because these orgs are paying a lot of money to be in these regions.
Correct.
So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. I wish they do something about it because I don't know.
They will. It's just going to take time.
It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
Wow. So now off season, what do you do? What's your hobby? What do you do on off season? What's your
So right now we're in the rebuild stage, so we're making some roster changes and we're in the process of looking for some new players, which is public. I mean, if you're in the Rainbow scene, everyone already knows, but yep. So we're just kind of moving some players around, trying some different players out. Just kind of getting prepared for the new stage coming up. And because the off season is so long, you don't want to fall behind and not practice because, fingers start to dry up and you want to keep your players motivated. So
yeah,
we try to keep, a steady, healthy balance between the two.
Well, not only your org, a lot of orgs are doing a couple things behind the scenes, and that's normal, perfectly normal. a lot of these organizations and teams are just making some arrangement, doing some things, and they take advantage during off season. That's when they start, doing things that they want to do, or swapping or trading. And that's one thing. Do certain orgs trade players?
Yeah, yeah,
They do
yeah.
that, right?
If the if it's a deal that's worth considering, yeah, players would do it. It's happened a couple times. Yeah.
Right. I don't see that a lot, but I do. I once in a while, like, I don't see it that much. Like thought it would happen. Like you see it. We nowadays they pick up players from, um, like for an example, Sonics just picked up.
Abby.
Yep,
Yep.
and Ambi, and so they picked him up. Now he's going to be able to compete in SI because he's going to be actually 18 when it starts. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Like to see that, But a lot of times, I would assume that a lot of these orgs will want to do trade deals.
Yeah, I mean, generally with trades, like, and I don't want to speak for other orgs, but generally they're one-sided because, one player is better than the other. It's very rare where it's an equal 50-50 matchup, at least from my experience.
Yeah.
It's all perspective, but at the end of the day, one player has to be better, and normally it's a one-sided trade. So unless it's like I'm trying to think, like, can you think of a good trade that is equivalent to be a fair trade, right? Like who would you trade for Shaiko?
Oh God, I would. That's a tough one. I don't. Probably Palu, maybe.
But some people would be like,
It's
but some
so
people would be
hard.
like, are you
Yeah.
sure about that?
Yeah.
It's all perspective,
Yeah,
so
it's all. I mean, that would. Yeah, that's true.
so then
That
you
would
get to
be-
like the mid-tier players where it's like, okay, give me a mid-tier player for another mid-tier player. I mean, it's not as easy as it sounds,
Yeah.
and generally the opinions from the players are going to be pretty strong, as in, like, if I told you this player for this player, if they're not the ones receiving like the Shaiko, for example, like,
Mhm.
they're thinking, okay, this is a horrible trade. Why the fuck are we doing this?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Why do it? That's
yeah.
not going to work out. Yeah, that's a tough one.
So trades are
That is
definitely very, very tough.
very tough. I assume.
Normally with trades, if you do see a trade happen, you'll see like, okay, I'll get this player and $30,000. You see what I'm saying? So there's a little bit of collateral there.
There's a little bit. Yeah. Okay. That would make sense. That perfectly makes sense. Now, Taylor, off the pro scenes. Now, you as a person with your family, what is it you're doing nowadays on off season? What you go fishing, or what do you do?
Let's see. So this is random, but I I do a lot of production and film stuff. That was like my passion before I did gaming stuff, and it's still my passion. I'll edit and do that kind of stuff. But I've been working with a author that's writing a book, and I'm helping him kind of promote and work on his website. And he's about to publish a book that comes out in March. So I've been doing kind of little side work, trying to entertain myself. And then if I'm not doing side work, honestly, just hanging out with my friends. Obviously I love to go to the movies, but I have a little girl, so going to the movies is not as easy as it used to be.
Daddy,
really just spending time we just don't go to the movies right now. I don't think she has the attention span to sit still. But
okay. How old is she, if you don't mind me asking?
She's about to turn 2.
Oh gosh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
She's gonna be more attracted to colors and things moving around, and
Yep.
probably watching Dora.
Yeah, she's a handful right now. So really just like, spending quality time with my family is kind of really what's going on right now. And I normally don't get this much free time. So I really just use this free time to see a lot of my family members and spend time with my daughter and my wife, and just really make it about them right now, because it's not normally like that when work starts to get a little crazy.
Well, it's good to know you're a family man. You got your wife and kids and everything, and you just gotta. There are the most important thing ever. Is your family. And I tell a lot of these guys, when you play, I know you're playing for your team, but also play for your family, because you're making your money, but you're making to be a provider as well for your wife, or a lot of them are young, they just have a girlfriend, or they're saving the money for college. But I said, do it for yourself, do it for your family. Just put in all the efforts. Just think about them when you're out there.
I agree.
It's going to help you out in the long run. Don't put in your mind like I'm going to be playing and win these tournaments so I could get ego boosted and become number one player. I said that's not. It's because sooner or later it's gonna crash. Do it for your family, for your love, for your mom. Because if you make some money, you want to help her out or your father out. So stuff like that. Do it for your family. And I know it must be really hard for you once you start traveling and going some places. And having your wife and your daughter home. It gets tough. It gets
Yeah,
tough.
it is very tough. I agree. My daughter's birthday was during invite.
Oh gosh.
Which that was the invite. We got third, which was, I thought was going to be it. All the sacrifices we had made, and it was her first birthday, and I was just my dad had just passed.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was a really tough year. He passed in January, and it was unexpected too. And then my daughter's birthday, and then invite. So that invite meant a lot to me, and we got third, and we were so close to bringing it all the way home. So it is tough. It is tough when you're away from your family, for sure.
But you know what, Taylor, making third is phenomenal. And I'm going to tell you why making third is a phenomenal thing. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I wrote to you, I wrote to somebody, keep your head up, because third place is a freaking good place to be in. The team that was in fourth, wish they had third place.
Yeah,
So no
100%.
matter what, you did get the bronze medal, but you got a medal. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm coming from?
Oh, 100%.
So no matter what it is, third place, you did freaking good. Because the people that came in fifth, they want third place. If you ask them, you want to switch? They will switch in a heartbeat. They're like, I'd rather take your third place and you come down here to be fifth place. And third is good because third lets you know my team got it to get to number one. That's all it is.
Yeah, which is why like this last year has been disappointing, because we went from that third place finish and just to not even making invite this year. And so it's really just been a massive rebuild phase to get back to that spot again, because it's just not who we are. So
Let me
definitely
tell
been a
you,
tough year.
it was you that I wrote to.
Did you message me?
Yeah, I messaged you. If you look, go to your the Twitter DM and go. It was February 19th. And look what I wrote to you, so you could just understand.
Yeah, hang on, I'm scrolling.
It's all the way on the top.
Oh yeah, I do see it. That's
See?
wild. Yep.
And what did I say? Every team that didn't make it wishes they got third place. Placed third like you guys did. Brother, if I was a pro, I'd rather be placed in third than to be eighth. But I'll take an eighth place
I
in a
appreciate
heartbeat.
you sending me that, because when you go through those events, I mean your inbox is just absolutely flood, and you miss so much, but it's good to know that people are looking out there for you and thinking about you.
Yeah, you got I know I'm with part of the wild card, but even back then I wasn't, and I always want to support the NA team. A good fellow American team. So I saw that you guys came in third, and I was like, you know what? I'm still proud of them. They did good. Third place is phenomenal. I'll take it. If it was the Olympics, you guys would have just stand up. This is one thing I really wish, if there's somebody in UB could listen. Okay, fine. There's people that win first place, but give something to the people that win second and third. I don't care if it's just give them a medal, give them something, because I think that yes, you may win first, but I think the second and third should deserve something. If they do it in for like the net like these Formula Ones, the racing, you
Hmm.
see them on the booth. The guys on first, there's a second, there's the third. They're all just putting out the champagne and having a good time. I think if they do that in the pro league scene for Rainbow, you got the first players, the second team that came in second, and the ones that came in third. They all get some type of medal, something, or one small trophy, and the others the medals to put around their heads. I mean, that'll be that'll be good.
I respect the sentiment. I do, but like for me, it's like it's first or bust. To be honest, like
Really?
from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah.
I didn't want anything else other than first. So, I understand the sentiment and I respect it and I see where you're coming from. And I don't think it's a bad idea, but like in terms of like competing, it's like first or like, we're failures kind of thing.
First,
And
see, yeah, that's the part that, because I know it hurts to lose. It hurts. Some people just go, they don't show it in front of the cameras, but I know some that they just when they're private, they're by themselves. It hurts them really bad. Because losing for them, it takes a toll. But my thing is that you guys, no matter what, first and second and third, you still get paid. There is there's a prize pool for you guys.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's why I think that since you're gonna get part of a good chunk, so at least give them
Give something
something.
more. Give something
Yeah,
more. Yeah.
get a little medal that says third place and be recognized on top of the stage, because I see that are the hard effort that you got to put in your team, and all the sweat and all the hours you guys put in practicing and going in scrims after scrims, and to make it that far to get at least third place. But and this is my opinion, I believe you guys should get recognized, be on stage while there's celebration. Yeah, there's a first, there's a second, and the third place team also should be get a standing ovation because you guys played phenomenal.
Yeah. We
That's
busted,
me.
we busted our ass
Of
that
course.
year.
Should at least they put at least a bronze medal around you guys' neck, said third place, but guess what? You made it and you guys did phenomenal, So that's me. But
I'm
I
still trying to
see,
go for gold for sure.
yeah, of course. But you're gonna make, I mean, you're closer to gold than all the
Yeah.
other people, all the
Oh
other
yeah.
teams.
Oh yeah. You're not wrong.
And if you made it that far, you're gonna make it in first somehow. So one of these majors or one of these, you know, tournaments you guys are gonna be playing, you guys are gonna make it. You'll see.
Yeah. I need that major bad.
Yeah, I'm sure you have something in plan. Don't ask because that's private, but I know you have something in mind what you're gonna do and plans to making it there. And I think you have your head on straight. You're a phenomenal coach. You know what you're doing. You've been in the league for so many years. So
I think we're fine. I think we're headed in the right direction. I think
yeah.
I am excited for the next year. I'm excited to reset and start fresh because even though we struggled, it was so close. Like it wasn't like we, absolutely just did terrible. It's just
Yeah, I
came
mean
up
that's what I'm
short.
saying. You guys don't perform bad. If I see like year after year, you guys are placing eighth, ninth place. I mean, on the bottom of the barrel, then I'll be like really concerned. I would say, Taylor, what's going on now? Your team constantly for the past few years, 4 years, you're always on the bottom of the barrel. You're not even making it, not even the top five. But you guys are making it really good. You guys are always on top five.
Yep.
So you're doing something really good to be there.
Yeah, we believe in our system. It's just tough year. It's a tough year, and we're gonna correct it, and we're gonna be better, and we'll bounce back next year. So that's the mentality.
Oh, well, that's a good mentality. That's a good mentality.
You gotta be level headed.
Yeah. Well, Taylor, I know you're a busy man just like me. We're both family men, and we're married with kids, and I gotta get going here soon. But as I do for all my guests, I'm gonna give you like a minute of platform, so you go ahead and tell everybody where to find you, where to reach out, how to where to get their content, whatever. The platform is yours.
I guess just follow me on Twitter at Redeemer _ So it's REDEMER _ on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and then follow OXG at OXG _ Esports. I don't stream, so no streaming to follow. But if you want to contact me or get a hold of me or check me out, follow me on Twitter or X and give me a follow. Thanks for listening.
Well, there you go, folks. The man himself, the coach, the legend. Follow him on Twitter. He's a phenomenal guy, a really nice guy. I know the owners must be very proud of him because he always performed phenomenal with his organization and with Rainbow as a coach. He's super, and as you guys see, he's very humble, and I highly respect him. He's really 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 good. Okay, well, Taylor, till next time. This won't be the first nor the last. I'm sure I'm going to bring you back sometime soon, and let's see how it goes. Okay, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Okay, folks. Thank you for listening. Till next time, God bless you. Take care. Peace.